Hey, what's up, everyone? You're here with Goran and Kirk once again for your free picks for soccer, this time for Sunday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo, I guess, to all of our friends from Mexico. Thank you for joining us here again. Kirk, yesterday, actually Saturday, was absolutely amazing for us. We've hit a bunch of free picks, some of the big ones for nice plus money. Your parlay
Yep.
unfortunately lost because Holland decided to score goals once again. And
Yep.
yeah, unfortunately, that was a loss for you. Mine is still active, and we'll see how that one will go. But overall, I'm very happy with the day, Kirk.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely didn't expect Holland to come out and score 4 goals for to break my last leg of the parlay. But hey, what can you do when you have plus 900 odds? Something like that always seems like it's going to happen.
Yeah, as of right now, there's still a few games left to be played of our free picks. And for my parlay, we are waiting on Sassuolo and Inter. And there was another one. I just forgot which one was it. But Barcelona is now 4-2 down against Girona after being ahead 2-1 at halftime. So they are having themselves a game, which is something that I love to see. But on Sunday, we have 12 games to talk about here. That's over 20 free picks for you guys. Of course, each of us has a parlay once again. So stay until the end, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. And of course, for our premium picks, there's links for both of us in the description of the video. So just check it out, guys. Sign up or basically put two of us together and get all of our premium picks for the day. Uh, as we usually do, Kirk, we are going to kick it off with the EPL. And the first game we have is between Brighton and Aston Villa. Uh, on paper, this promises to be a very entertaining game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this will be a very entertaining game. Brighton hasn't won in any of their last 5 matches, but they they do score a lot. They haven't lately, but they do score a lot. Villa's also coming off a bad loss in the Conference League against Olympiacos. But I do expect Villa to rebound because they do want to secure their fourth place spot in next year's Champions League. So I am going to back Villa here and both teams to score at plus 260, as Villa has also won the last 2 meetings and both teams have scored in their last 2 meetings as well. So I'm going to take that at a plus 260. What about you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not as confident in Aston Villa as you are, especially when they're playing on the road. And they did suffer a very, very bad loss against Olympiacos just a few days ago, 4-2 at home. That was quite a disappointing result for them. And like you said, Brighton can definitely score goals. Sure, they haven't been doing it lately, but in my opinion, I think that they are due for a nice performance, especially at home. Injuries have been a big
Yep.
problem for them this season, and that is pretty much the main reason why they're not fighting for that Champions League or the Europa League spot. But overall, I think that they're a great team, and if they are going to get a nice performance, it's going to be at home. I know that Aston Villa is not playing well defensively. They have their last 4 games have gone over 3.5 in both teams to score. So the only hope they have is to outscore Brighton here, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't have as much faith in Aston Villa as you are, in this case at least, and because of that, I'm gonna take Brighton on the money line at plus 177.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this game could go either way.
Yeah, we have two high value picks here, guys. So make your pick and let's hope one of us wins. For the next game, Kirk, we have Chelsea and West Ham facing off. Now, this should be another interesting game because let's be honest, neither of these two teams have much to play for. Chelsea coming off of a win. West Ham hasn't beaten anyone in their last 5 games, but they can definitely score goals.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea actually is, as I've been looking, is only 5 points behind Newcastle for the Conference League. And after another failed season for Chelsea, I could see them actually making the Conference League after a 2-0 win against Tottenham last weekend. I do like Chelsea in this spot, but the money line is just not enough value. So I'm actually going to take Chelsea first half here at plus 100, even odds, as they are actually playing pretty well right now, I'd say. So I like them in this spot in the first half.
Yeah, you know what? Depending on the outcome of this game, that distance between them and Newcastle could be smaller if they end up winning this game against West Ham. But then again, West Ham is also fairly close to Newcastle as well. They're 7 points
Yeah.
away, and with 3 games left to play, anything can happen in the EPL. It's that kind of a league. But As far as my pick goes, I will go with both teams to score in over 3.5 goals at plus 115. Defensively, Chelsea is one big mess. We know that. They can score goals, definitely. Cole Palmer has been playing well. Nicholas Jackson has been waking up once again, slowly, but he's getting there. And West Ham, they're also one big defensive mess right now. So if there is a game on the slate where we can see goals, I think this one might be it. So both teams to score in over 3.5 goals at plus 115. Uh,
I
for our
like it.
for our next pick in the EPL, the last pick in the EPL, we have Liverpool hosting Tottenham, and as we can see, goals are expected here by the books, minus 370 on the over 2.5. That's an insanely high line, especially because Tottenham hasn't been scoring a lot lately.
Yeah, no, Tottenham hasn't been scoring at all a lot lately, but Liverpool have not been good at all lately either. They've kind of lost track of the title race here. And I'm just looking at this historically. They're both two really good teams. They're both fighting for Europe, fighting for the title. If you want to say Liverpool has a chance, I don't think they do. Maybe they do, but with the way Arsenal and Man City are playing, I don't think they do. But here I'm going to take Tottenham plus 1.5 at minus 140. In their last 5 meetings, Tottenham has either won, drawn, or lost by one. So they haven't lost by two in their last 5 meetings. And I assume it should continue today with or tomorrow with both teams in not great form. What about you, Goran?
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, Tottenham hasn't been scoring a lot, which is highly disappointing because they were one of the most enjoyable teams to watch in the EPL this season. Their playing style was absolutely amazing, and I hope they can keep it going next season as well. But like I said, Liverpool has been very sloppy lately. Defensively, they haven't been up to par. In the attacking end, Darwin Nunez and Mo Salah have been missing a ton of chances. And when you don't have an output from those two guys, you are struggling. And that's why they are now out of the title race. And honestly, even though theoretically they still have a chance to do it, they can only do it if City loses all of the games and Arsenal loses all of the games, which simply cannot happen if you ask me. So they will need to be happy with that third place, in my opinion. And as far as this game goes, you have Tottenham plus 1.5, and I will take Tottenham over 3.5 corners in this one at minus 143. I think that they can definitely produce enough in this game to give us those 4 corners that we need, especially when Liverpool's defense is so sloppy lately.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Off to Spanish Liga, Kirk, where we have Osasuna and Betis as the first game to talk about. Osasuna, they were playing pretty consistently well for, I would say, maybe, I don't know, half a season or
Yeah.
something like that, but they still lacked a lot of depth and I would say a lot of quality in the midfield and possibly in the attacking end. While Betis is coming onto them here without Isco, who is suspended, do you think that's going to affect their game?
I think it is him. He is one of their big midfielders, and I just see a really low scoring game here, to be honest. I know the past games have been pretty high scoring between these two games, but I've been looking at their stats for the year, and Osasuna is ranked 11th in goals scored in La Liga, and Betis is ranked 10th. So I'm expecting a low game. Both these teams don't really have too much to play for, so I'm actually going to back both teams to score equals no in this one at minus 110.
Yeah, when you see the matchup, you kind of immediately think of a low scoring game, maybe even a draw under 2.5, probably for sure. When I look at the matchup, I saw cards. I think this is a type of a game where we're gonna see a lot of fouls on both sides. This is gonna be a hard fought battle. Uh, I I mean these are two teams that do not shy away from getting a little bit rougher on the pitch. So with that in mind, I'm taking over 4.5 cards at plus 102.
I like it. Let's do it.
For our next game, we have Celta Vigo hosting Villarreal, and I think this was going to be very interesting. Celta Vigo at the moment are above the relegation zone, however, only by 5 points. Now, with the way Cadiz and Granada and Almeria have been playing this season, I would say that Celta is safe. Potentially, maybe they need a couple more points out of the last few games of the season.
Yeah, I think they should be safe, but I don't think they get it in this game. Villarreal is still fighting for they're ninth, but they're still fighting for Conference League. They'd only be 3 points behind sixth place if they do win this one. And I mean, with the value in Villarreal money line here at plus 190, it's kind of too hard for me to lay off of. So I do like Villarreal in this spot as they've also won three of their last four games, or sorry, four of their last three of their last five games and only lost one in that period. And even though Celta does have some good results here, I like Villarreal at this line just too much to pass up on it.
Yeah, it is a great price against the team who is capable of scoring goals, but Celta has been so inconsistent over the last 2 or 3 seasons that they always find themselves close to the relegation zone as the season end approaches, and there's always a lot of pressure on them. Now, this might be one of the seasons where they don't have to wait for the last two games to find out if they are safe or not, because, like I said, they have 5 point advantage. But when I look at Villarreal on the road, they have 6 wins, 5 draws, and 5 losses with 29 conceded goals in 16 games. That's an average of over 2.5 conceded goals per game. Now, they are scoring a lot. Yes, Celta Vigo is not a good defensive team either. But I'm going to go with both teams to score an over 2.5, minus 118. Villarreal kept a clean sheet in their last game against, not even sure who it was, but actually Rayo Vallecano. And how they did it, I have no idea. But I don't see that happening here once again. So I'm going to go with both teams to score and over 2.5 goals.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that play at all. I like it.
The last game in La Liga that we have is between Sevilla and Granada. Granada is done. They are getting relegated. They are in 19th place, 21 points. That's 10 points from the safe zone, which they have no way of getting. While Sevilla on the other side, well, they are not getting to any of the European competition, but their form has been pretty solid lately.
Yeah, when I think of Sevilla, I think of a very defensive minded team usually, and they are in good form right now, and they haven't conceded too much lately. They've conceded one goal in their last three games. So I like the under 2.5 at minus 104 here. Granada, as you said, is getting relegated. They don't really have much to play for. Sevilla will try to keep up their good form, but I could easily see a 1 or 2-0 Sevilla win here. So I'm just going to take the under 2.5 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it fairly simple here. I'm simply gonna take Sevilla on the money line. It's minus 154. Decent enough to take as a single pick. Maybe put it in a double with something else, some other maybe juiced money line or something like that. That will get you nice plus money out of it. But I don't know. I just feel like that currently Sevilla's form is very, very good, and it's gonna be good enough to beat this weak team such as Granada. So I'm taking Sevilla on the money line.
Let's do it.
In Bundesliga, Kirk, we have 3 games on the schedule. The first one is between Union Berlin and Bochum, and it almost feels like that whoever ends up winning this game will be safe from the relegation. We have a very strong competition at the bottom of the table. Mainz 28 points, Bochum 30, Union Berlin 30, and Borussia Mönchengladbach has 33. With only 2 games left after this one, either of those three teams that I just mentioned could potentially get relegated. But like I said, whoever ends up winning this game will probably be safe.
Yeah, definitely. This is actually one of my favorite games on the slate in terms of betting. I I'm from Germany. I watch a ton of Bundesliga, so I neither of these teams score a lot. Union, they barely score. Like I hate. They're one of my least favorite teams to watch in the Bundesliga. I'm not on high on them at all this year. They were good last year, the year before, but this year I don't know what happened to them. Bochum doesn't score too much either, and with both teams fighting for relegation or fighting off relegation, I expect it to be a very tight game with not too many chances. So I'm just going to back the under 2.5 goals at minus 136 here.
Yeah, when I compare Union Berlin at home and Bochum on the road, Union Berlin is much better at home than Bochum is on the road. Bochum is the worst team in the league when playing on the road, with only 1 win, 4 draws, and 10 losses, 11 scored goals, and 38 conceded goals. That's an average of over 2 conceded goals per game when playing on the road. And I know that Union Berlin is not the best team in the league, far from it. And even when they're playing at home, they're not the greatest team. But like I said, my logic here is that they are better at home than Union Berlin is than Bochum is on the road, and the fact is they need to win this game because Bochum is their main competition to stay in the league and avoid the relegation. So to keep it simple, at this price minus 102, I'm taking Union Berlin on the money line.
Sounds good. And with Freiburg just tying Mainz, that's also big for both those teams. So that helps both of them in the relegation fight.
Absolutely. Eintracht Frankfurt and Leverkusen, probably the biggest game of the day in Bundesliga. Now, we know that Leverkusen has nothing left to play for in Bundesliga except to stay undefeated, which is basically for them means play as much as you need to get a draw. But Eintracht on the other side, they're fighting to stay in that sixth place, which is actually a Europa League spot, and Freiburg is behind them with only 4 points less. But Eintracht has been far from a consistent team this season.
Yeah, Eintracht is not one of the most consistent teams in the Bundesliga, where Leverkusen hasn't lost all year and is going for the perfect season. Everyone here wants to be the team that defeats Leverkusen, and Eintracht at home, I'm sure they'll just park the bus, honestly. And Leverkusen hasn't been winning by too many goals. They won 2-0 in the Europa League against Roma during the week, and I think some teams are starting to figure out the blueprint of how to slow down Leverkusen. And Eintracht, I think, of the 3 games remaining in the Bundesliga, is the team that could overcome this. So I think they have the most offensive firepower, but they also have a decent defense. So I'm going to back them to park the bus and under 2.5 goals at plus 120.
I'm not sure I agree about this one because Leverkusen definitely looks like a team that has enough depth to rotate, and I know that they're coming into this game uh, after that win against Roma in the Europa League. But you know what? Winning the treble but while staying undefeated would be probably one of the biggest sports stories in the last 30 or 40 years because what Leverkusen
Yeah.
has done in just a season is absolutely stunning, and I for one hope that they can do it. And if I'm being honest, I just don't see Eintracht Frankfurt getting the win out of this one. They might get a draw, and I feel like that's how it's going to end, which is going to be my pick for this one. Draw at plus 250, 1-1 game if we are lucky, but I honestly would not be shocked to even see a nil-nil game here between these two teams.
Yeah, me neither. Under 2.5 and a draw. I could see 1-1. I could see 0-0. Definitely.
The last game of the day in Bundesliga is between Heidenheim and Mainz. It's quite clear who needs the win here more, and that is Mainz, who are now in the relegation promotion playoff spot. But like we said, they're only 2 points away from safety, and if the outcome of that Union Berlin and Bochum game favors them, they still have a decent chance of getting above the relegation zone.
Yeah, they do. But honestly, as a big Bundesliga watcher, Heidenheim has been one of my most surprising teams in the Bundesliga this year. They just came up to the Bundesliga for the first time in a long, long time. And they're in 11th place, which is not bad for a team that was supposed to get relegated. They're also at home in this spot. I know Mainz has a lot to play for, but I do like Heidenheim to at least win either half at minus 106, which means they either have to win the first half or the second half. And with how they've been playing this year, they're a very gritty team. So I do like Heidenheim in this spot, and they somehow always figure out how to at least win one half as I've looked at the stats this year. So Heidenheim to win either half at minus 106 is my play here.
Yeah, they definitely came out to play this season, and like you said, they finally got to Bundesliga, and they are one of the few teams in the top 5 leagues. When they get promoted, they actually stay in Bundesliga, and I do applaud them for that. They had a fantastic season. I'm sure they expected to be somewhere close to the bottom and fighting to stay above the relegation zone, but here they are. 6 games before the end of the season, they were safe. They had no pressure on them. But then again, I do expect Mainz to maybe try and step it up defensively here at least, which is going to be my pick. I'm going to take first half draw, Kirk, here at plus 122. I think
Okay.
that we might see both teams starting off a little bit slower in the attack again, focus a little bit more on the defense, especially Mainz, who really can't afford to drop any more points. And with that in mind, I think that if anything is going to happen, it will be in the second half.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Off to the Italian Serie A, guys. We have 3 games to talk about. We'll try to get through these as quickly as possible, and then we are up to the parlays. Verona and Fiorentina. As we can see, Verona not as big of an underdog as you might expect against Fiorentina, who is coming off of a win in that Conference League game. Are we expecting them to be a bit tired in this game?
Not really. No, I expect Fiorentina to win this game for honestly two main reasons. They've won the last three meetings against Verona, and Fiorentina actually is still in can in they could still make Conference League. Sorry, they're two games in hand against Lazio, 6 points down. So if they were not to win the Conference League, they could still re-qualify. So I expect them to get the win here. And at plus 130, I don't understand why this is so much value. Maybe it's a trap, but it's something I can't avoid here. So I'm going to take Fiorentina money line at plus 130.
Yeah, it is a very good price of Fiorentina, which is quite surprising because Verona hasn't been consistent or a good team for pretty much the entire season. And we have a very strong competition at the bottom of the table in Serie A. There's like five teams within only 3 points. And it's going to be a tight battle. It's probably because Verona does need a win here to stay in the league, but that doesn't mean they will get it. I think that they will try to do something. I think they definitely can because Fiorentina's defense, especially on the road, hasn't been the greatest. And with that in mind, I'm going to take Verona over 3.5 shots on target here at minus 143. They might not score goals, they might not get a positive result, but I think they can get us 4 shots on target quite easily here in this game.
Yeah, let's do it.
Milan and Genoa is the next matchup in Serie A, and Milan will probably end the season in that second place. They're far away from the top. However, they haven't won any of their last 5 games, and their form is basically in the free fall right now as we approach the end of the season. Do you think they can get a win here against Genoa, who arguably is a solid team, but they have nothing left to play for except maybe to try and beat Milan on the road?
Yeah, I do like this spot for Milan at home. As you said, Genoa is on the road. I'm really not expecting too great of a game here, as both teams don't have anything to really play for. As you said, Milan is sliding. They have only conceded 39 goals all year, though, and Genoa has only scored 38 goals all year. So I think this could be a low scoring game. So I'm just going to go with both teams not to score here at minus 112 and keep this one simple.
Yeah, like you said, Genoa is not scoring a lot of goals when playing on the road. They're averaging less than a goal scored when playing on the road. And Milan, as bad as they have been lately, I think that they will try to step it up here. They are playing at home in front of their fans. One of the, I think, last 2 games that they will be playing at home this season. They will be qualifying for the Champions League. They are getting a few players back from the suspension list for this game, which is definitely going to be big for them. And even if Genoa doesn't end up scoring, I do like over 2.5 in this one at minus 133. I think that Milan can get us over 2.5 line on their own. If they get it going, if Pulisic gets going, Rafael Leao as well, I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm going with the over 2.5.
All right, let's go.
The last game of the day in the Italian Serie A is the big one. It's a derby between Roma and Juventus. When you look at it on paper, you immediately think of the draw. If I'm being honest, Juventus now has what 3 draws in a row, and both teams have scored in all of those games. While Roma on the other side, they have a very important game against Leverkusen next week. They played one just a few days ago. They do have some depth problems. They're missing a few players, but they're getting Lukaku back for this game.
Yeah, as you said, Roma has a big game against Leverkusen upcoming this week. They don't have too much depth right now, and with you also kind of nailing it on the head, if you look at this game, you think draw. So that's actually why I'm just going to take tie no bet Juve at minus 120. I think they don't really have too much to play for here during the week, so I think they have the advantage here, and we're just gaining insurance with doing the tie no bet here.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm going to take.
I feel like there will be a lot of changes in the offseason in Juventus, starting with the head coach. There have been some candidates as well, but we'll wait for that a bit. Roma, I would say they were fairly consistent when De Rossi took over the team as the head coach. They got to the semifinals of the Europa League, but realistically, I just don't see them getting past Leverkusen right now. They are in the Champions League spot in Serie A. They will try to keep it, but I don't think they can get a win here against Juventus, if I'm being honest, which is why I decided to go with a player prop in this one, just avoid the goals, avoid the sides. I'm going to take Federico Chiesa over zero point 0.5 shots on target for Juventus. It's minus 125. Their strikers are not doing well right now, but the Chiesa is definitely one of those players that can turn the game around when he's in a good form, and I think that might be one of those games.
Yeah, it definitely could be.
Now we are up to the parlay of the day, guys. We have a couple of those. Kirk has a three-legger. Why did you get us that one, Kirk? It's another big one, if I may say.
Yeah, it is a big one, and it's just going to be another Premier League parlay. It's actually all three of my Premier League plays in a parlay. So it's result teams to score at plus 260, Chelsea first half at plus 100, and Tottenham at plus 1.5 at minus 140. This pays out plus 1104. So this is a big parlay, but hey, it's Sunday. Let's make some money.
It's very big parlay, especially because it's only a three leg when my five leg parlay is plus 392. So I have Chelsea West Ham over 2.5 goals. I'm taking Sevilla on the money line. I'm taking Union Berlin on the double chance against Bochum at home. I'm taking Braga on the money line in Portugal. And I will take Saint Gillois and Anderlecht in Belgium over 1.5 goals. That one is in the championship round and it's quite intense there. So hopefully we see some goals in that one. Like I said, guys, five leg parlay plus 392. Kirk's is a three legger for plus 1104. Should be an interesting day. A lot of free picks, a lot of great games. So stay tuned, everyone, for more free picks. Get those premium picks. Put me and Kirk together. Get a 3 day pass or 7 day pass. When you combine us, get all of our picks and let us help you with some money. Kirk, any last words?
Yeah, definitely. As Goran said, pair us together. You'll get double the premium plays as you're getting double the free picks now, and you'll get a discount with that as well. So pair us up and let's head into the week with some money.
Absolutely. That's it, everyone. Good luck with all of your bets. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you soon with more free picks.